Complete the sweep of the Suns just over 5 minutes to go in the fourth. SGA splitting the defense through traffic. Somehow he gets that one to fall. He finished with 31 points. The Thunder are moving on. They win this one 131-122 to complete their third straight first-round sweep. A look at the most consecutive 20-point games in regular season and postseason history. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 81 games right there. That is the sixth longest streak of all time. And we say hello to our friend, CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John is here to help us tie the bow on this series. So, John, the Thunder did exactly what the entire basketball world expected when these playoffs began. They shut down the Suns, and they largely did so in convincing fashion. What did you make of the way that OKC thoroughly dominated Phoenix in these 4 games?
Yeah, they're just so much better than the Suns, right? I mean, this was a really tall order for the Suns, and the Suns have had a good season. They were happy to make the playoffs after winning just 36 games last year and then trading Kevin Durant. But even after having a good season, the Oklahoma City Thunder are just too much for them, right? Like, you look at this game and you go, SGA had a casual, breezy 31 points and 8 assists coming off a playoff career high. Didn't even break a sweat doing it. Chet Holmgren goes for a monster double-double. They lose Jalen Williams. He's got a hamstring. He's being evaluated weekly. They just insert A.J. Mitchell into the lineup. He goes for 22 points. Alex Caruso off the bench. I mean, they're so deep. There's so many different ways they can beat you. But credit to the Suns, though, because a lot of teams could have just mailed this in, and they didn't. I mean, they got blown out in game 1 by 35. Then they lose game 2 by 13. Then they lose game 3 by 12. And tonight they lose by 9. So they got better during this series, and it didn't matter even a little bit. They shot the ball pretty well tonight, and that didn't matter even a little bit. That's just how much better Oklahoma City was. This is just an appetizer for them. They're on to the second round.
Yeah, I want to go back real quick and talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He was the man of this series, John. He entered Monday having averaged nearly 35 points a game all throughout round 1. And, of course, he finished game 4 with 31 points. What were your thoughts on how efficient of a scorer he was all throughout this series?
That's why he's the MVP, right? It's why he's the reigning MVP. He's probably going to be the 2-time MVP when that award is announced shortly here. And he's the reigning finals MVP. And we'll see whether or not he can defend that one. But it's very difficult to stop him, because even on a night when his shot isn't falling, and his shot is usually falling because he's one of the most efficient scorers in the NBA, what he does better than anybody else is get to the line. And when he gets there, he's a killer. I mean, you can't stop him from getting to the line. And I know that annoys a lot of people, but I think it's a skill. And it's a valuable one, and it's one that he's put to good use in this MVP run, and also for the Thunder in their championship run last year. And then we'll see how far they get this year. But first round, I mean, there's nothing that the Suns could do to stop him. They just, Dillon Brooks is a good defender, but there's only so much that a Dillon Brooks can do against an SGA. Whereas you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, they have waves of defenders that they can throw at the opposition. Not that there's another SGA out there, but they just have so many different options. And very few teams have anybody, let alone multiple someones, who can guard an SGA for all 48 minutes. He's just that good.
Is he the clear-cut best player in the game right now?
So this is where it becomes more complicated, right? Because if we're talking about who's the MVP, then I think it's going to be SGA. But if we're talking about who's the best player in the world, well, now it's a little bit different. I think Nikola Jokic has been the best player in the world for quite some time, even though SGA has been the MVP, the best player on the best team from last year, and then certainly this season. But then all of a sudden, how long is he going to have that mantle for? Because here comes Victor Wembanyama, who might take it away from him this year in terms of who might be the best player in the world. So it's one of those 3 guys. But yes, SGA is incredible.
Yeah, he certainly is. Now, you mentioned that, of course, OKC moves on to the next round here, and the Thunder will face the winner of the Lakers versus Rockets series. And LeBron James, man, he has really been the story in that series, looking way more like the 21-year-old King James than what we'd expect him to look like at 41 years old, of course. So if you're the Thunder, who would you rather face right now, L.A. or Houston?
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, I hate to dampen the enthusiasm of what will probably be the Lakers winning that series. I would be shocked if the Rockets came from behind to do it. But the Lakers aren't a match for Oklahoma City, and neither is Houston, frankly. Even when the Lakers were fully healthy with Luka Doncic before he had that hamstring injury, and Austin Reeves, who's got an oblique issue, and he's expected back sooner rather than later, and certainly sooner than Luka, they just weren't a match for Oklahoma City all season. The Thunder won that series 4-0, and you'll remember in the second to last week of the season, the Lakers were playing great basketball. Luka was healthy. Austin Reeves was healthy. They had won 15 of 17 games, and they had their final game set up in Oklahoma City, and they were making some noise about, okay, let's see what, what we're made of here. And maybe it'll be a statement game for the Lakers. And it was, because they got absolutely throttled in that game. And on top of that, Luka and Austin got hurt. So even if those two guys get healthy, yes, LeBron has been phenomenal, with the exception of the turnovers. And this last game wasn't so great. But really at 41, doing so much more with so much less around him, with a supporting cast that's pretty thin in this series. But once you get to Oklahoma City, you're not playing the Rockets anymore. You're not playing a team that's offensively challenged and doesn't have any guard play and can't hit a shot. Oklahoma City can beat you a million different ways, and I think it's going to be a tough series for the Lakers.
Yeah, it feels like OKC has already kind of sharpied their way on to the next round beyond round two. Now, of course, Monday's defeat also means that the season is officially over for Phoenix. And so as the Suns enter the offseason, what would you like to see them do from here moving forward, John?
Yeah, I mean, they hit on something this season, and I'm surprised by the year that they had. I didn't anticipate that they'd make the playoffs. They only won 36 games last year, and then they traded Kevin Durant, and somehow they got better. They ended up winning 45 games, so that's a credit to them. I don't think anybody outside of their owner, Matt Ishbia, anticipated that. But Devin Booker, he had a good season. Jalen Green, he was injured the entire year, but he comes back, and it looks like he'll give them some nice offensive firepower in the backcourt between those two guys. And then Dillon Brooks, for all of his faults, and he's mouthy, and he's problematic, and he's an irritant, he wins at every stop and makes teams better. So that's a good starting group. And then you have a guy like Colin Gillespie, who enjoyed a nice year, and Grayson Allen, although Colin Gillespie is an unrestricted free agent and made next to nothing by NBA standards in terms of his contract. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So they'll have to figure out if they're going to bring him back and if he wants to come back, or if he has a better opportunity. The big thing for them is really that front court. Royce O'Neal was their best front court player, and that's a problem because they go and they trade for Mark Williams. He was alternately injured and ineffective. They have Oso Ighodaro in the starting lineup. He's not the guy. He's a backup. They draft Kamen Malawach. Maybe he develops into something, but they basically did not use him all year. So I think you're onto something with that backcourt, but they're really going to need to figure out what they're doing in the front court.
Yeah, we will see what Phoenix has in store as the offseason begins. Great stuff as always, John. We really appreciate you for the time. And a quick look at the most consecutive wins for a team in the first round of the playoffs. This is since 1984, which is the 16-team playoff era. Oklahoma City right there at 12 straight wins. That ranks among the fifth all-time on this, or fifth on this list since 1984 once again. Lakers of 84 to 90 with 20 straight wins.